Hey, Vox here. What if I told you EA made a card so powerful, it single-handedly made them change the way they code the game for years, and we still haven't recovered as of this recording?
Having fun?
Card this powerful, we've had our fair share of overpowered cards over the years, right? In our football games, from OG, Bo Jackson, and Tecmo Bowl that, Family Guy has even made a meme about.
I don't know, a lot of football still to be played here.
I'm hitting reset.
Don't you dare hit reset. You hit reset, you're banned for life. I won the game, and now I'm gonna jump Bo Jackson!
To Mike Vick in 04, running around defenses, just nobody faster than him behind the line of scrimmage. Devin Hester in 08 had 100 speed the first time they ever went over 99 stats just for his, special year of returns. Even in MUT, we've had Odell Beckham in 16, Eric Dickerson in Madden 20, and many more. But this one card is responsible for hard nerfing an entire position group that's, still down bad today. Maybe they'll fix it going forward, but I'd like to introduce you to MUT Master Ryan Shazier right there. So, Shaz, right? There's been plenty of MUT Master cards over the years. I talked about Odell Beckham in 16. We've had Sherman in 15. Plenty of other ones. Gronk 17, current day MUT Masters. But nobody has really caused a lasting difference on the game quite like MUT Master Shaz ended up having in his time in the game. Now, there was quite a lot of stats needed in order to get this MUT Master card, right? You needed to finish 500 unique solos, 125 multiplayer games won, right? 25 dailies done, 2,500 tackles, 125 forced fumbles, 25,000 rushing yards, 800 passing touchdowns, and 80,000 passing yards. Estimate the amount of time that took, probably well over 100 hours of game time for that. Obviously, there was more efficient ways of doing it, but once you did that early in the year, you were rewarded with this card right here, 95 Shaz. In comparison's sakes, right, when you look at his attributes with 90 speed and everything on there, you got an ability that you could build into the card, secure tackler, hot hands, to catch the ball. That's current day pick artist. Other competition at the position at the time, like Luke Kuechly had a high end, I think maybe the highest linebacker on launch. He had 78 speed. So a linebacker that was basically the fastest card in the game, right? That could run, jump, play with everybody in a loop blitz meta where you were basically, you could loop him through and he was faster to the quarterback because offensive line couldn't pick it up in 19. There was many things you could do. You could use your lurk. You can play off multiple routes because of like the one cut system, the ability to lurk from route to guard basically 2, even up to 3 receivers on a single play with a single card. Especially, and I think this is what the big focus around linebackers was the fact that they can jump and pick off balls around 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. Now, this is not something that we hadn't seen for years, right? Julius Peppers and Madden 15 and his ability at 6'7" just kind of lurk the ball so many yards behind him. It really caused a little bit of a shift in the game to take away kind of the middle of the field. And so like a lot of players would either blitz you or they'd play max coverage, and then they could just double Mabel the outside coverage and run around the middle of the field with a user like Shaz and take away all your routes. Eventually, the pass rush will get home, and since you have nowhere to go, you've got nowhere to go, and it ended up being a really good defense overall. So, IRL Ryan Shazier was a really great linebacker. As a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I was a first-hand experience of his growth and development into one of the best linebackers in the league before he was tragically cut short due to an injury. For example, the 2017 Steelers season, probably the most talented Steelers team we've had in a long time. They weren't able to win the big game like a lot of other Steelers team, but when you look down the roster, Hall of Fame adjacent or Hall of Fame talented level of players on that roster. I don't know if Antonio Brown's getting there. Their offensive line had some, like I said, Hall of Fame adjacent type of guys, DeCastro, Pouncey. Their defense was stacked with talent. In the 11 games that he played before his injury, the Steelers only let up more than 18 points 3 times. After his injury, every team they played, sans the lonely Texans, scored over 18 points, 5 of 6 games, and they let Bortles drop 45 of them in the playoffs. So, he was really developing into one of the greatest linebackers in the league. If he was already there by that point. Him missing in the middle of the Steelers defense there after his injury was a devastating blow to the defense overall. And you know, it's just an overall tragedy for, you know, Pittsburgh, the NFL overall, that his career was cut short. You know, I was really glad when they announced Muttmaster 419 being Ryan Shazier because of his, you know, unique contribution to the game, his miraculous recovery, which they didn't think he was going to walk again. And then he came out and showed all of America that he was, you know, making progress. And, you know, overall, it was great that Mutt would honor that. And so they made his card powerful. They really did. And they kept him upgrading through the year, being this powerful. Seeing him being able to jump out the building and intercept passes was quite crazy, right? A linebacker that's able to get up there. But when you compare him to like other athletic freaks, when you look at his like RAS score, compare it to like the greatest players in the NFL right now, Micah Parsons, right? Ran a 4.38 there at 237. He jumped, he had huge like verticals, shuttle, everything. And that's why the Steelers drafted him so high, and he developed into that player. They tried to replace him a few years later with Devin Bush. That didn't work out. Again, another injury to him, but this time in the lower body, and you know, it sapped a lot of the explosiveness, which made him great and kind of what he was looking like his rookie year. But Shaz, with his overwhelming speed, his ability to hit stick, his secure tackler ability, which, you know, 1 year off of Madden 18 with its crazy spins like Barry Sanders, Bo Jackson, and a huge running year. 19 ended up being more of a passing year, so having a guy that can lurk from sideline to sideline with that kind of speed, with that kind of cut ability, was very important for a defense. And along with the ability to bring down just about any single ball carrier, especially if he touched them, was very important. It was very overpowered. So Chaz and linebackers along the way have become such a meme in the community. We still see to this day casuals remembering how crazy linebackers could jump up, still get like, you know, thousands of likes and retweets on linebackers jumping and picking the ball crazy enough behind their head. Now, because of this, because of the overpoweredness of Shaz, EA decided to respond and make linebackers not able to jump at all every year after Muttmaster Shaz came into the game. You know what? It was an okay balance decision, right? Because the ability to jump up and snatch balls 15 to 20 yards behind him, it was truly overpowered. It was crazy. But I think EA swung the pendulum too far. Now, instead of like, you know, iterating on the system, making guys jump, you know, realistically, they decided just to ground them out, right? An entire airfield of just planes just taxiing over and over and over. But like this other position group, safeties can still jump up even when they're subbed in at linebackers, basically forcing the meta over only into nickel packages, dime packages, and other things like that in order to allow your linebackers, aka safeties at those positions subbed in, to jump. Otherwise, you got to pay for abilities there in order to make them play like safeties. They're already mostly slower, right? There are almost zero linebackers in the history of the NFL that were quite like Ryan Shazier with his combination of speed and up and everything. So the fact that like safeties can play like this, but linebackers can't, it's just kind of like taking out the ability to run 3-4, 4-3 without, you know, right ability mix, but you're kind of nerfing yourself by using these abilities instead of other abilities to help you play the game out there. Unfortunately, linebackers have been useless since this guy ended up dominating our lives, and it's, you know, truly sad, but you know, it's great memories for a guy that brought us so many good ones in Steeler Town. But hopefully next year we'll be far enough away from Muttmaster Shaz to finally get our linebackers back jumping once again without having and forced to be using the lurker ability. But Muttmaster Shaz, we salute you. Hopefully we'll see another game-changing Shaz card soon.